So Kyle has hit the book promotion tour, and his first stop, or at least I think it was his first stop, was a small media show called American Sunrise. And oh boy, hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With cold, blunt analysis, cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
First of all, let me declare at the outset that I am a true believer in Kyle's innocence when it comes to the Kenosha shootings. Those who think he's guilty don't understand what happened or don't understand the law. Well, usually both. Now, I had never heard of the American Sunrise Show. I'm a conservative, so I would probably agree with large part of their channel's message. It is produced by Real America's Voice, which has a small presence on YouTube. And by small, I mean you can't find the interview on YouTube even using precise keywords, such as American Sunrise, Kyle Rittenhouse. Here is a sample YouTube video of theirs, and you will see that they have about 2,500 subscribers, and this video has been seen about 183 times. That's a little better than my own channel, but that's nothing to brag about. While we're on the subject, subscribe to my channel. So let's get this show on the road.
Was a story that tore at the fabric of America and inflamed race relations across the entire country as hundreds gathered to protest the police shooting of black man Jacob Blake. Kyle Rittenhouse, just 17 years old at the time, age of my sons right now, fatally shot two Black Lives Matter protesters and wounded a third with an AR-17 rifle in Kenosha, Wisconsin. This was in 2020, you all remember. Now, after these shootings, Kyle was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, attempted first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree reckless homicide, and 2 charges of first-degree recklessly endangering safety. He pled self-defense, and he was ultimately, after a long battle, acquitted in 2021. Kyle has just released his new book, aptly called Acquitted, which he describes as a story of survival, resilience, and justice. And Kyle and his service dog, Milo, join us right now. Welcome to the show, Kyle. I want to first introduce your dog, Milo, and I think it's important that we brought Milo on set with us. We don't normally have dogs on set with us except for my little dogs on Fridays.
The interviewer comes across as the typical blonde, mature, kind of hot, real spirited creature that you find hosting news gossip sessions on Fox. And nothing against her. Seems like a real nice lady that I wouldn't mind having as a next-door neighbor. But enough of that.
Times when it's Puppy Friday. But we have Milo because you dedicated this book to him. And you not only dedicated the
not to his family or those who helped fund his defense or his legal team. No, his dog, who is illiterate.
book to him, you have an entire chapter in your book. As somebody who also really does benefit from a therapy dog, from some of the things that I went through, honestly, on January 6th, I want to bring him, and I wanted to have him here with you. Your book is a page turner.
Yeah, as in, let me turn the page and see if it gets any better.
And I have to tell you, I was a little surprised because you're like my kid's age, and it's not often I'm reading books that my children's friends wrote. Tell us your favorite thing about the book. What is it?
My favorite thing about the book is I get to tell my story. I get to tell the truth of what happened, and it's from my perspective. It's not an interview. It's not questions being asked. It's me saying what I want to say.
By the way, he obviously didn't write the book. No one writes their own autobiographies. Well, unless you're a professional writer and you got lots of spare time. Those of you on the left that think you have scored some intellectual credit by shouting, Kyle didn't even write it, or I bet Kyle didn't even write his own book, are only showing your ignorance of the publishing world.
And putting the truth out there for everybody to read and see the real me.
The truth? Okay.
And it really is. It's guttural. It's raw. There's a ton of emotion. There's
a ton of emotion? Ha! The book is void of emotion. One of the reasons why, by the way, that you don't hire newspaper columnists to write your autobiography. In fact, the most gut-wrenching aspects of his ordeal are largely ignored. Case in point. Remember this scene?
Forgive me. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I know it's okay. I'll be okay. Mom, can you breathe? I know you have a heart attack. I need you to breathe. I'm okay. I'm breathing. I know, but you're scaring me. I don't want you to anything to happen. I need you.
I know, but you're scaring me. I need you. Now, let's hear what Court TV had to say about this.
There.
And you mentioned
I
that
guess charged with investigating.
right, and you mentioned the emotion that you see in this video, and the dynamic between mother and son really is fascinating here. Let's take a look at more of that.
Like them, I bet you can't wait to get your hands on a copy of Kyle's book to hear his thoughts on such a traumatizing moment between him and his mother. He says, I need you. Oh my God. I want to hear what Kyle has to say about that. Oh, I'd better get my Kleenex out because this is going to be gut-wrenching. But I gotta know more about this exchange. What is Kyle going to say about this bond between him and his mom? How much of her anguish did he feel? Did he feel that she would be able to protect him? And well, fuck you. He doesn't even mention it. That's right. This entire ordeal that you just saw is never discussed at all. In fact, by reading his book, you get the impression that his mother was barely there. Like she dropped him off and went back home. Her humanity, her trauma, her anguish is simply scrubbed away. How about another example? Gage Grosskreutz takes the stand. Gee, what was Kyle thinking? Here is the man who tried to kill me. Here is the man who I maimed for life, even though I had to do it. I mean, I wonder what it must have been like to see the man who he thinks tried to kill him for the first time face to face. Well, you're going to be wondering for a real long time because he never mentions any reaction to seeing Gage at all. Nada. Just like he never mentions anything about Dominic Black taking the stand, or how he reacted to Ann Fiedler's or Nathan DeBruin's testimony. In fact, neither Ann nor Nathan are ever mentioned in the book. Are you kidding me?
There's all of the self-doubt. There's the fact that you have tremendous PTSD from what happened to you, tremendous PTSD from what happened to you. These are the things that people often don't think about when they think about Kyle Rittenhouse. They think, wow, you were catapulted to the top of really the fame digest, if you will, among conservatum out there, if that's a word. You were acquitted. They don't know what happened, not really just even that day to you. Your childhood wasn't what the media painted at all. In fact,
I mean, Kyle doesn't get a whole lot to say here, but I kind of understand. Look, this is a powder puff interview. It's pretty heavily scripted. He's a nervous kid. She's going to do most of the talking. I get it. I don't have any real problems with it.
you're from a considerably poor family, and you grew up even in homeless shelters with a drug-addicted father, a mom who was just trying to scrape it together, and two sisters that you felt responsible for in a lot of ways. And then this happened to you, right, in 2020, and you became the hero that you
Boy, it's really good to hear from Kyle.
don't like the title of that day to conservatives, and the villain, in fact, the first person people wanted to kill to the left. That's a lot for a 17-year-old child.
By the way, I'm not convinced at all that he doesn't love the hero label.
Absolutely. I was painted a villain by the left media. They called me a vigilante. They called me racist and a white supremacist with no facts or basis to those claims, and they continued to double down. Just the other day, there was an article written about me, a complete hit piece, saying I was using this as political power, which is just BS. It's
And this is the article he's talking about. I'm going to do another show on this at some point down the road, but it's very typical of the stuff that's put out by the left. I'll defend Kyle on this one. Well, I mean, I defend Kyle on most things, but I'm not a big fan of his book. I'll just tell you that. But at any rate, he's talking here about a headline. Kyle Rittenhouse's new book isn't about the truth, it's about power. And the left, of course, this is MSNBC, they're always extolling the virtue of research and critical thinking. However, this entire article is based on the opinions of an expert, not the writer, but some other expert who himself doesn't have any firsthand or even secondhand knowledge of any kind of political aspirations of Kyle Rittenhouse. They made it up. This is how they operate. They're trying to make a claim here that Kyle has political aspirations, but nowhere do they tell you where they get these notions. It's always somebody else's opinion based on other people's comments. It's just garbage. And this is the crap that has caused so much anguish and so much misinformation and so many lies and misunderstandings. So those of you on the left, I don't want to hear your crap anymore. You're not intellectual. You're not critical thinkers. You're just political animals.
not true.
Yeah.
I didn't write a book to gain political power. I don't know what political power that gains you, but that's just some of the things the left is writing about and trying to smear my name and discredit me to the best of their ability.
Yeah, your whole life you loved the police, and you even got a little helmet. The one gift you remembered getting that was really special to you was a little helmet with sirens on the side of it, so you could live out your little police, goal. Because your dad wasn't really capable, a brilliant man, but not really capable of accomplishing a whole lot because of his addiction. And
By the way, Michael Rittenhouse gets absolutely brutalized in Kyle's book. I mean, really bad. But okay, if Kyle wants to tell that part of his story, he can.
And here you found yourself in jail after this happened, in the place that you thought you would never be. You thought you might be visiting people that you put there. You thought that you might be, right, help. But your goal in life was to be like an EMS worker or a police officer or something like that. You weren't from a wealthy family. I said that already, but I think it's important. And I have to say,
He grew up with a loving family. You wouldn't guess it by reading his book. Oh, I know Kyle thinks that his book evokes that kind of warmth, but it doesn't.
that as the mother of one of your good friends, my son Bo is the one who actually arranged this interview. We're blessed that we get to meet people like you who happen through Palm Beach quite often. But you're not somebody who has tried to capitalize on this at all. Why did you then write this book?
What? What? He's not trying to capitalize on this? Look, there's nothing wrong with trying to capitalize on things. Money makes the world go around. Don't give me this crap that you're doing this for charity.
I was tired of seeing narratives out there that aren't true, both from the left, both from the right. I just wanted to put the story out there and the facts of what really happened. A lot of people think I have it easy or I had it easy, and that's just not true. The fact is that I grew up homeless. I grew up homeless when I was a young child. I was on government subsidized housing. I had a drug addict dad, and I had a mom who was working 80-hour weeks trying to put food on the table. It was not easy growing up.
So evidently the pushback on how he treated his mother in the book has gotten to him a little bit, and how he's extolling her virtues 80 hours a week and all. Don't be fooled by it. He does not treat his mother well in the book at all. I have told him about it. I have cited passages from the book and told him that these were going to really wreck his mom's reputation and her own psyche. I don't know. At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and do part 2 in the future. If you really think it's worth it, let me know. And I'm coming out with a whole series of shorts that I'm going to isolate large problems with the book and talk about what to avoid when you write books in the future, so be sure to subscribe to my channel.